So there's 6 dimensions of health. Let's talk about what they are, how they interact with each other, and how to stress less. So again, there's 6 dimensions. The 6 dimensions are, gotta love New York City, physical, mental, emotional, social, existential, and environmental. And most people think about the first two, physical and mental, really, when it comes to health and fitness and things like that in general, right? Like, is your body healthy and is your mind healthy? And those are super, super important. But the other ones also matter. Like, do you have a group of people around you that support you in what you do? Do you have an existential? It's like, do you have a deep why? Like, do you know why you're not even just working out? Like, why are you existing? And it doesn't have to be that deep, but do you have one? Environmental, just real basic, right? Like, is your environment safe? Is it providing to you what you need to get to where you need to go? And then there is emotional, which is a very important one that kind of gets wrapped into mental, I think. And what that is do you have a full range of emotions? Can you experience a full range of emotions? Can you handle them? And most importantly, do you have mostly positive emotions? If you have negative emotions all day long, it's not a good thing, right? Not a good place to be. So those are the 6. And many people form their wellness routines, their fitness routines, they kind of make their goals around those first 2. But those other ones are also super important. And if you're having trouble getting somewhere in those physical or mental ones, maybe you need to take a look at the other 4. Is your environment or your social circle a good place to be? Are you able to handle emotions correctly? And are you feeling mostly positive emotions? And I'm forgetting one other one. And do you have a deep why? Do you have a why in general? Again, it doesn't have to be that deep, but do you have a why? And they all kind of interconnect. Like, if you're sleeping like shit, then mentally you're not going to be so great. You're not going to be able to handle tons of emotions. Most of those are probably going to be negative that day. And then, you're going to be a fucking asshole to your social circle, whatever it is. They all kind of interact and they're all interconnected. And the fact that we only focus on 2 of them, I think, is just like a detriment to society. And now we've kind of talked about the fact that they all exist, right? Just acknowledging them and kind of setting your life around what it is that you're doing, like making your life around those, is super, super helpful. Forming your wellness routine around the 6 is super, super important, right? Because again, like, if physically and mentally, I feel like a lot of people know what they need to do. They can get it done. It's the other ones that will ebb and flow and mess with your physical and mental side. And so those are super important, and they're important to deal with. They're important to think about. They're important to structure into a program. They're important to structure into your day. I got lost there. I have no idea what I'm talking about. So we talked about what the 6 dimensions are. We talked about how they all connect into each other and affect each other. So now let's talk about how to structure like a program around them, right? And it's not that hard. It's just making sure that they're all balanced. So your exercise routine, your nutrition, all that can stay the same. It's just about having a consideration for each of the other ones. Like, are you happy in your environment? Do you have a deep why? Boom, perfect. Those are checked off. And those are ones that may change every once in a while, and that's okay. But as long as they're checked off, they're checked off. You don't have to check back in on those for a while or until you feel a change there. Social is a tough one. It's hard to change friends, and I'm not saying that your friends are like a negative influence on your life, but like, for some people they may be, and that's a consideration. But that's a consideration for you. Like, you're probably not going to be able to get where you need to be physically, mentally, emotionally if your social is fucked up, if your social dimension is fucked up. And now I'm just rambling, going into like worst case scenarios for each one. But I think that just considering them and like checking a box and checking in with yourself every once in a while on each dimension and where you truly are is a really helpful thing. And that's like all that my coaching is. That's how I help, not even just in my personal training, but in my wellness coaching that I do as well. I try to help people think in that way. And it seems really silly, and it might seem corny to some, and it might seem stupid to others, but just the consideration of each of those and making sure that you're good or that you're doing something for each of them is really, really important, and it's a game changer. It really is. So to close out, I rambled. Who knows how I edited this, if I did at all. But there's 6 dimensions: physical, mental, emotional, social, environmental, existential. Consider them, check the box on each of them, make sure that you're good to go. If you feel like your health is floundering, if you feel like your health, wellness, or even just fitness isn't where it needs to be, take a look at each of those. Are you doing something for each one? Are you... Because you're probably not. You're probably not, right? Like, life is busy, life is stressful, life is whatever. Like, it's tough out here. It's tough out here in these streets. So just consider each one and know that each one affects the other. One interacts with another, is going to throw another one off, or if you improve one, it's going to bring the other ones up with it. So something to think about, something to consider. And I think that's really where the world is going. That's really where like this fitness wellness industry is really going. And you can see it with mental health becoming a big thing, and like holistic health, and holistic meaning like a whole person kind of health. You know, I'm really happy that this is where the industry is going. And I hope that this can be helpful to you. Peace.